What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello. My name is Erica. It's so good to have you. And if you are not new, welcome back. I am very excited to film this video today because I've been dabbling in the animal-based diet or way of life, if you will. And there's so much research on it. There's so many mixed opinions, but I wanted to give you guys a full week of mostly animal-based eating. And also, before we get into it, I wanted to give you guys the reasoning behind why I am trying out this approach and just all the tea. So first things first, the reason why I wanted to challenge myself a little bit with the way that I'm eating and the way that I approach nutrition is because I'm always someone that's going to preach balance and everything in moderation. But what I realized upon doing a little bit of a self-audit is that there were certain foods in my diet that I don't think I was being that mindful with or that moderate with. Specifically, certain processed foods and very high chemical foods, such as the sugar-free sweeteners that I was using. So like sugar-free caramel, I would put a ton of that in my coffee, using a lot of the artificial sweeteners for baking and stuff like that, stevia, and then also my protein powder. I love protein powder. I love PEScience protein powder. There's nothing wrong with protein powder. I just wanted to challenge myself to see if I can eat mostly whole food to get my protein in for a week, 2 weeks, whatever it might be, because I became very reliant on my protein powder to get my protein in. So those are the main things that I noticed. And then also I feel like we can all just be more mindful of the amount of processed foods that we consume in our diet. Again, there's nothing wrong with consuming these foods. I'm not telling you that you need to cut them out. It's just a challenge for myself to see, can I do it? How do I feel? It also, so far, has given me a lot more creativity with my meals, which has been really fun as well. And it's shown me that I don't need all of the sweeteners and all of the things. Like, I can make food taste good without all of that stuff. So, with that being said, if you're unfamiliar with what animal-based is, again, there's different ways of approaching it. I've seen multiple different, I guess, categories of it online, but the general consensus is that most of your food is going to come from animal products, so meat, dairy, eggs, cheese, butter, that kind of thing, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. You can also have fruits, pretty much any ripe fruit. You can have squash, cucumber, sweet potato, white rice in moderation. Some people don't eat white rice. I will be eating white rice because I need carbs. Dates. What other carb source am I thinking of? Oh, sourdough bread, honey, agave. You're not supposed to have artificial sweeteners when you're following this approach. However, I'm still incorporating a little bit of stevia, much less than I was using before, but it's just, again, I'm not following it 100%. I'm using it as kind of a starting point to challenge myself to be more mindful and to try and eat mostly whole food based, if that makes sense. So hopefully that gives you guys a brief little overview. I don't want to blab too much, but let's get into the full week of mostly animal-based eating. I'm also going on a lot of vacations in the next 2 months, so I know that I'm not going to be following it super strictly while I'm there. But when I am at home and I'm cooking for myself, I feel like it is a very mindful approach to take when you're making your own meals. It's like, how can I make this, as whole food as possible and as less chemically as I can. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Sorry for the long intro. I just wanted to give some disclaimers. Let's get into what I had for breakfast today. It's Sunday right now. I had a yummy breakfast, and I guess I'll catch up with you guys whenever I'm back from my walk. I might have a snack, I might have lunch. Who knows? Okay, we are back from our walk and I'm gonna make a little yogurt bowl snack for the morning. Just gonna do some Greek yogurt, some honey, and some fruit. Banana, blueberries, and raspberries. And that is my little morning snack for the day. All right, you guys, lunch is served. I'm just having some rice that I cooked the other day with filet and some avocado, and then I put a little bit of coconut aminos on, and we're gonna dig into this. One thing I will say is, since trying to be more animal-based, my digestion has been really good. Not that I struggled a lot with terrible digestion, but I just feel like it's really been smooth, not really any bloating at all, and I've really been enjoying the meals. They're very simple, but you can make them flavorful, you can make them satiating. I mean, it is more satiating in my opinion than the way that I was eating before, because I would have to add a lot of like fillers and things to make my meals satiating, when now it's just like the meats and the fats are what is satiating me. I also can't believe that I went so many years of my life never ever eating steak. I thought it was gross when I was younger, but I don't think I ever really had it, and now I love it. Okay, it has been a little bit. It's now 5:30. I was just watching I finished watching the first 2 episodes of the new season of Love is Blind. So if you're a fellow Love is Blind watcher, comment down below who your favorites are, what your predictions are. I'm gonna go and finish probably another episode right now. I've just been lounging because it's Sunday and why not? But I am very hungry now. I'm gonna make some dinner. You guys saw my snack was just cottage cheese, cinnamon, strawberries, raspberries, and honey. Super simple snack. High protein, get some carbs in, get some micronutrients in. And for dinner tonight, I'm gonna make something very simple: sweet potato fries, zucchini, and ground beef. And then I'm gonna make a little yogurt dill lemon dip. All that's in it is Greek yogurt, lemon juice, and dill, and a little bit of salt, and I just mix it up. It's a really good dip that you can dip your vegetables in, your meat in. I dip my sweet potatoes in it, and it's phenomenal and high protein. So let's get into dinner on night 1 of eating almost fully animal-based. Okay, this is my bowl. We have ground beef, sweet potato, and air fried zucchini. And then this is the dill yogurt dip that I made with Greek yogurt, lemon, dill, and sea salt. So I'm just gonna dip the little fries in here for dinner tonight. Looks delish. For dessert, I'm just making a little bone broth hot chocolate. This is the Paleo Valley brand, and I just frothed up some Fairlife milk. And that is what I'm having as my nightcap tonight. Good morning, you guys. It is Monday morning. I just had a call with one of my managers from the running app that I work with, so it's a little bit later than I would normally eat breakfast, but that's okay. I'm making turkey bacon and a bunch of sourdough, and I also don't know if I said this yesterday, but in the mornings, I lately at least have been having bone broth hot chocolate from Paleo Valley. Today I mixed it with a decaf coffee. I didn't love it, so I'm probably just gonna stick with the bone broth and some Fairlife milk. So yeah, that's the update. I'm gonna head to the gym after I eat, and I'll catch up with you guys. Well, I'll show you my breakfast, and then I'll catch up with you guys when I'm back from the gym. Okay, some unsalted butter, my bread for some fats, and I'm gonna do some banana on here, and then avocado on the other one. I've been getting really good avocados lately. That's like the perfect ripeness. And some honey on these. And then we've got my turkey bacon. And that is gonna be my breakfast before I head to the gym this morning. Okay, I just got back from the gym and I stopped at the grocery store to grab a couple things. So I just figured I'd give you guys a quick little grocery restock haul, starting with some pasture-raised grade A eggs, some raspberries, ground beef, turkey bacon, 2% cottage cheese, Fairlife milk, 1 zucchini because I have some in the fridge, banana, some cantaloupe, some salmon, chicken broth because I actually drink this throughout the day. I like it a lot, and then just some avocados. So that's just a little quick restock that I had to grab on the way home from the gym. Okay, post-workout, I'm just gonna make a little Greek yogurt bowl to tide me over until lunch. I'm gonna add a little bit of honey and then a bit of pineapple and just a couple pieces of that melon that I bought. And that's it, super simple little Greek yogurt bowl with honey and fruit for my morning snack. Okay, you guys, it's now lunchtime. If you can hear the air fryer in the back, it's because I'm just air frying up some zucchini. I have steak left over from yesterday. So my plan is to make like a steak and egg rice bowl with zucchini and like maybe some avocado or something, we'll see. So let's get into that. Start with our rice and our steak that I have from the other day. And I'm gonna add a tiny bit of chicken broth just to put this in the microwave, give it some moisture. Okay, so that's heated up. Got my egg. Got a little bit of avocado in here. And lastly, we have our zucchini, and this is gonna be my lunch today. I'm very excited for this. I feel like this is gonna be very satiating, and I have a pretty packed day today. I'm about to hop on a podcast with one of my husband's clients actually, and I think we're gonna podcast on comparing yourself to people on social media and in the fitness space, so I'm really excited to talk about that with her. And then I've got to go shoot some photos for my husband and his business partner after that. And then I've got a lot of editing to do today. So it's just going to be kind of a jam-packed afternoon, but I'm very excited to have this because I feel like it's going to be satiating. There's lots of protein and healthy fats in this meal. If you would have told like 16-year-old me that I'd be eating steak and eggs for lunch on a random Monday, I would have told you you're crazy because back then I was vegan. I feel like I'm always in this exact location or spot when I'm updating you guys, but I made myself a matcha latte, which I forgot to show you guys, but it's just matcha latte with a little bit of Fairlife milk, or I guess a lot of Fairlife milk, and a tiny bit of the Chobani creamer. I'm gonna make a snack right now, just a little cottage cheese bowl, nothing crazy. And I have to go pick up my tailoring. This has nothing to do with this video, but I just figured I'd update you guys. I got my clothes tailored a couple weeks ago in a video that I made, and I want to go pick it up, but I just know the traffic's going to be crazy. It's like 4 p.m., which is when rush hour kind of starts. So I might do that tomorrow. If not, I might be in the car for a little bit. But it's been a busy work day, no complaints, all good things. But I just feel like the last couple weeks have been so go, go, go. And I'm going on vacation next week. My husband and I are going to Mexico to visit. Well, my parents are going to be there and meet us there for my mom's birthday. And I'm just trying to get like as much done before we go as I can, because we're home after that for a week and then we go straight to New York City for me to run my race with Rana. So it's going to be a chaotic couple of weeks, and I'm just trying to really hone in on content and getting everything done that I can so I can actually be present and enjoy my vacation. So anyways, that really doesn't have to do with this video. I just felt like sharing. Let's get into my snack. I feel like this is one of the easiest snacks of all time, and like high protein, gets you some carbs, etc. And then I add quite a bit of cinnamon. Obviously do this to your taste buds, but I like it very cinnamony. Also gonna add some honey, and then my berries of choice today, which are blueberries, as well as some raspberries. And that is my afternoon snack for today. Pretty simple. Okay, I'm making spaghetti squash for dinner tonight. So I basically just cut one in half, and I took all the seeds out, and then I just pierced it with a fork like maybe 10 times. I am impatient, so I'm gonna microwave this for like 8 minutes, and it's usually pretty much fully cooked, maybe 10 minutes, we'll see. You can also cook these in the oven at 400 for like 30 to 40 minutes. Like I said, I'm impatient, so I'm gonna throw this in the microwave and cook it really quickly. Okay, that was in there for 9 minutes, and it's pretty perfectly cooked. I'm gonna let it cool for a bit just so I don't burn myself, and then I will add some unsalted butter in here and then like mix it all together so it makes a spaghetti type consistency. Okay, you guys, she's cooked. I got her all mashed up in the middle, threw some butter in there, some salt, and then threw my ground beef on from last night. I know it's kind of like minimal, but honestly this tastes so good. If you've never had spaghetti squash, please try it. It's amazing, especially with butter. Okay, this might look crazy, but my dessert tonight is 2 medjool dates with some butter and sea salt. This tastes like cookie dough, I'm not joking, and you can microwave it as well if you want to, but I'm just gonna eat it like this. And that is my dessert for night 2.
I get lost inside my thoughts, and when I start to think, oh, the time how close it starts to end up on the brink. I tried so hard, but all these scars, they cut so deep.
All right, and this is breakfast: turkey bacon, egg, and 3 pieces of sourdough. Gonna be so good to fuel my gym workout this morning. Okay, post-workout smoothie I'm gonna make with just a little bit of Fairlife milk, also some vanilla Greek yogurt. I don't know how much I'm actually gonna use, I just eyeball it. We'll do some frozen strawberries and a little bit of frozen banana. And I'll start with 1 scoop of ice, but I might add more. And we'll blend. Okay, this consistency turned out so much better than the last one that I made, so I'm really happy about that. I don't really know what I changed. I think last time I used almond milk and this time I used Fairlife, so just a thicker milk. Here we go. Post-workout smoothie for the day. We just wrapped filming the podcast. It's lunchtime. I'm so hungry. I don't know why I always get so hungry after we podcast, but we talked for like an hour and a half. It was such a good episode. It's going to be live this Friday, so before you guys see this video, it's going to be all about our firsts. First kiss, first car, first time getting blackout, first relationship, first breakup, first period, all the things. So definitely go check it out. I'll link it in the description box, but it's called Yapping Our Podcast. Anyways, lunch today is nothing crazy. I'm literally having what I had for dinner last night because I needed something quick and I didn't have like rice or anything cooked. But dinner will be more exciting, so stay tuned for that. But right now I'm just cooking up my ground beef and my spaghetti squash, and then we're gonna put it all together like we did yesterday. This is hot out of the microwave, and I'm gonna add some butter, if I can, in there. So good. And I'm just gonna let that like melt right now. Ooh, it's still quite hot, but we're mixing her up. And this would also taste really good with Parmesan, but I just don't have any in my house right now. All right, and now we're just gonna throw our beef on top. And it's not the most aesthetic, but it's so good. If you haven't tried this, please try it. Okay, afternoon snack today is, surprise, surprise, another cottage cheese bowl, but I just love these. And for context, this is the cottage cheese that I've been using, 2%, and tastes really good, minimal. There's like no fillers in here compared to some of the other brands that I've used. And a lot of cinnamon. As always, some honey as a natural sweetener. I'm gonna use up the rest of this pineapple. We will add some strawberries and also some raspberries. And I know this is a repetitive snack, so if anyone has other animal-based snack options, let me know, but this has just been like my go-to in the afternoon. We're back in the same spot. Dinner is going to be salmon in the air fryer, rice, and probably some zucchini and like coconut aminos. So I bought 2 salmon, I think they're called fillets, at the store the other day. I'm gonna throw those in the air fryer. I don't know how long you're supposed to air fry salmon for, but I just Google it whenever I do it. And just white rice, very simple staple meal. I don't know if I said this already, but there's kind of like a green, yellow, red model that I'm somewhat following when it comes to animal based. So the green foods are like, yes, you can absolutely eat these. The yellow foods are like, eat these in moderation. That's where like the sourdough, the white rice falls. But as someone who is an endurance athlete and needs the carbs and the fuel for my runs and for my workouts, I'm just incorporating those and trying to, I guess, reduce other forms of processed carbs that I would normally eat, like tortillas and stuff like that. Not that anything is bad. I'm just doing this to challenge myself, you guys, and we'll report back after the end of the week as to how I feel internally, energetically, etc. So no foods are inherently bad. That's not at all what I'm trying to portray in this video or get across. It's just this has been a good challenge for me as someone who wasn't being as mindful as they thought they were being with certain foods. So yeah, I'm playing a little game to see how I feel, and I'll report back after, but that is what we're making for dinner. All right, we're gonna do some rice, and I'm gonna add a little bit of coconut aminos. It's basically like the same flavor as soy sauce. Okay, we're gonna go in with this squash. Lastly, our salmon. I'm so excited for this. I also still have some of that dill yogurt dressing that I made the other day, so I'll probably just put some on top. But wow, this looks delish. Okay, dessert is gonna be a Ninja Creamy, and this looks really weird, but all that's in here is cottage cheese, Fairlife milk, cocoa powder, and a little bit of stevia. And it tastes like chocolate cheesecake, so 10 out of 10 would recommend. And it usually takes like 2 to 3 spins on the ice cream mode. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, this is the final consistency that it makes. It's so thick. I think the mixture of the cottage cheese with the Fairlife makes this consistency, like so perfect. So chocolatey, so good, and that's gonna finish off my night. Okay, good morning. It is Wednesday. I have a run this morning, so I'm just keeping my breakfast pretty high carb. We've got 3 pieces of sourdough, butter, honey, and banana, and then avocado and some sea salt. So that's what I'm gonna have for my 11-kilometer run. Just got back from my run and I made the same smoothie that I made yesterday, except for I just added a couple raspberries in here as well. It's such a good consistency. You don't need protein powder to make a thick smoothie. You just need Greek yogurt and some milk and frozen fruit. Okay, you guys, it is lunchtime, but I'm gonna head out to a cafe to do some work. So I packed this little lunch. It's just sweet potato, 2 pieces of turkey bacon, and 2 eggs. And then in case I'm hungry and I need more food, I brought a chomp stick, and this is just a bunch of different fruits. So there's cantaloupe, raspberries, and strawberries in here. So that's what I'm packing. Animal-based lunch and snacks. Pretty easy. Okay, I've been back from the coffee shop for a little bit. I ate all my snacks, I ate my lunch, and I also had a matcha that was so fire. And I'm just finishing off the rest of this cantaloupe. One thing I will say is I'm definitely eating way more fruit than I normally would on, actually I wouldn't say way more, but I'm eating considerably more fruit than I would normally, just because I'm eating fruit at breakfast now, which I typically wouldn't. And I'm also eating fruit just like more throughout the day. I don't know. I normally used to have like a fruit smoothie, and then sometimes my afternoon snack would have fruit in it, sometimes it wouldn't. But I just feel like I'm eating more fruit because it's like one of the only ways that I can get carbs in for the most part. So anyways, I'm gonna finish these, and then for dinner tonight, I have ground beef in the fridge that's already cooked, so I'm gonna eat that. Probably some rice, some avocado, some veg, or not veggies, squash, and that'll probably be it for dinner. I was talking to Maddie because she was asking me how I feel eating this way versus eating normally, and I'm gonna do a full recap at the end of the week, but I don't feel that much different. I will say I definitely feel a little bit more satiated after my dinner. Like I don't feel like I need a huge dessert, which sometimes I would want like a bigger dessert. But other than that, I so far don't feel that different. Anyways, gonna finish some work and then I will catch up with you guys when I make dinner. Okay, I just heated this up. It's my rice, coconut aminos, and ground beef, and I'm gonna add the squash and some avocado. Look at that gorgeous ripeness. And there we have it. Dinner is served. Super simple. As you guys can see, most of my meals this week have been really simple, but again, this tastes good. It's filling. It's got lots of micronutrients, vitamins, all the good things, and it's gonna keep me satiated. Okay, you guys, dessert is, I think, what I had last night too, which is just my cottage cheese and cocoa powder, Fairlife, and like a dash of stevia, Little Ninja Creamy. So good. Such an easy way to get protein in without using protein powder. And it tastes like chocolate cheesecake. Okay, you guys, it is 12:30 on Thursday, so kind of lunchtime. I have a podcast to get on at 1, so I do want to eat something beforehand because I think it'll probably take like an hour, and I don't want to eat lunch at like 2:30. That's just way too late for me. So we're gonna get into lunch. The one thing I will say about animal-based is, you know, I probably could get more creative. I'm not saying you can't be creative eating this way, but it is somewhat limiting. Like that's what a diet or a restrictive way of eating is, and I'm trying to follow the protocols as best as I can to give you guys like my honest feedback on how I feel, differences, etc. So I don't want to just be like, screw it, I'm gonna have, you know, cereal obviously. So with that being said, it kind of does, it puts a damper, I guess, on what you can and can't have. So I feel like my meals have been very like repetitive this week. I don't know if you guys feel that way watching this. So apologies if it's been boring so far, but it's been interesting to play around with. I think I'm gonna make spaghetti squash again just because it's easy and I really like how it tastes. And I have ground beef that I need to use up, and then I'm gonna have a steak tonight that Far is gonna cook for me. So I think I'll probably have that with rice or something. Spoiler alert, but let's get into lunch. Okay, again, same thing that I had the other day. Some spaghetti squash with butter, salt, and ground beef. This probably doesn't look that appetizing, but again, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Okay, I'm making a little snack. I'm not super hungry, but I just want something to tide me over before dinner. So I just opened up a new container of yogurt. And this is Greek vanilla yogurt this is the yogurt I'm using today. A little honey as always, and our berries. There we go, pretty staple meal that I've been having the last week, but easy, high protein snack. Okay, this is what we've got going on for dinner so far. These are just baby carrots that I'm gonna roast in the oven, and I put salt and honey on them. And then these are just sweet potatoes that I pierced some holes in with a fork. Don't know if you can see that, but that is how you get them to bake and not explode. And these are gonna go in at 400 for like probably 40 minutes. So I'm gonna throw those in right now. All right, we've got some filet. Looks good. These carrots turned out amazing. I'm so excited to eat those. And then I've got my sweet potato. I'm going to slice, put a tiny bit of butter on here. That looks so good. And then I also made more of that yogurt dip that I can dip whatever in it. Just yogurt, lemon juice, dill, and sea salt. You could also put garlic in this too if you wanted, but it's technically not animal based. Okay, I just did one spin so far of my Ninja Creamy for the night. All that's in here is Greek yogurt, Fairlife milk, and some crushed canned pineapple. So it's like a DIY Dole Whip, and it's so good. So I'm just gonna add some milk like you guys saw, and then we'll respin this one more time in the creamy. Okay, you guys, and that's the finished consistency. It's basically like pineapple frozen yogurt. So good. Super easy, and also, like I said before, you don't have to use protein powder if you don't want to in your Ninja Creamies. And this week has been a good test run for me to try out new recipes with the creamy that don't involve protein powder. Okay, Friday morning breakfast, we have 2 eggs. This is actually 2 pieces of sourdough. I just cut them in half because they didn't fit in my toaster. Avocado and salt, honey and banana, and this is what I'm having before I go to Pilates this morning. Okay, you guys, I know you can probably hear the air fryer in the back. It is 12 o'clock on the dot, and I went to Pilates this morning, and then my friend and I went to Earth Cafe and got iced coffees and a platter of fruit. So I just had like half of this fruit platter. I'll put like a photo on the screen so you guys can see what it looks like. And now I'm gonna make some lunch. Well, I'm currently in the process of making it. So we have some squash in the air fryer, and then I've got leftover sweet potato, leftover steak, and I might add a little bit of rice for more carbs. But we're just gonna make a nice little bowl. I'm super excited. It's like really cold outside today, so I want something like warm and substantial, if that makes sense. So let's get into lunch. I'm excited to debrief tomorrow on my whole thoughts on animal-based. Would I stick with it? I've got a lot of thoughts, so stay tuned. Okay, so like I said, we have rice, sweet potato, the filet that I had last night, and then I just air fried some squash, and that's gonna be lunch today. Super hearty, filling bowl. It's gonna be so good. Oh, and I also put coconut aminos on it as well. Okay, let's make a little snack bowl for the afternoon. And some of the fruit that I have in my fridge. A little more honey on top. So that's what we're having, afternoon snack. I know this is pretty much what I've had every day, but it's really good. Okay, surprise, surprise, we are back with more spaghetti squash. And then I also had some more carrots that I cooked the same way that I cooked last night, which was just in the oven at 425, and I just cooked them with some avocado oil, salt, and honey. And then I have butter in here with some salt and then the ground beef. I feel like this is not in focus, so sorry if it's kind of out of focus, but you guys get the gist. That is dinner tonight. Okay, are we surprised? Same dessert as last night, and I think the night before, just my cottage cheese chocolate cheesecake creamy. Okay, good morning, you guys. I'm going on my long run today, 26 kilometers. So we got to fuel up. I've got 2 pieces of sourdough cut in half, avocado and salt on one, banana and honey on the other, and then 2 pieces of turkey bacon. So lots of carbs to fuel me for this run. I'm also going to take gels while I run, but this is what I'm eating before. Okay, you guys, I finished my 26K run and I just made myself a smoothie with milk, Greek yogurt, and frozen fruit, and it's going to hit so hard. Look at that consistency too. Wow. Okay, I'm making a little bowl for lunch today. Starting off with sweet potato, the rest of the carrots that I had yesterday, some squash. I know this is gonna hit. And then ground beef on top. I'm just gonna finish it with a little bit of avocado. And that is gonna be my lunch today to refuel post 26K. Okay, I just made myself a little matcha latte for the afternoon. Ugh, I'm such a matcha girl now. I literally never used to be, but I think it's about the type of matcha that you use, and I'm using the one from Drink Renewed. It's their like vanilla matcha. So fire. Then I just used milk in here. Okay, you guys, dinner tonight is rice, some chicken, which I actually haven't had chicken at all this week, so technically with animal-based, like they say to minimize your chicken consumption, which is interesting. Zucchini, yellow squash, some pickles, and avocado, and some coconut aminos, and that is my dinner. Okay, you guys, to round out the night, we have another chocolate cottage cheese creamy. Wow, I literally forgot what this was. And I added some dates to it as well to give it a little bit of sweetness and like some more texture. So that's gonna be my last meal in this video. Let's go into the recap. Okay, you guys, let's do a full debrief of my experience eating animal-based. And I did actually eat animal-based for about a week before I filmed this video. So in total, it's been almost 2 full weeks of mostly animal-based eating. Overall, it felt good. I didn't find it to be too difficult. It made grocery shopping really easy because again, there's like constraints as to what you can and cannot consume. I was a little bit flexible with it. Like I mentioned before, I had the rice, I had sourdough, I had some things that weren't technically like on the green list. They were more on the yellow, kind of like eat in moderation list. But as somebody that runs as much as I do, your girl needs carbs. So that's why I had it, the sourdough and the sweet potato and the white rice. Anyways, in terms of digestion and overall energy, I really didn't notice too much of a difference, specifically with digestion, which again, I'm not someone that had a lot of digestive issues before. I pretty much have like a pretty solid gut. There are a couple things that bother me, like Brussels sprouts if I have too much, or broccoli, which that happens for most of us. But in general, my gut has been pretty smooth sailing. Not to give you any visuals, but my gut's pretty smooth most of the time anyways. I do experience bloating from time to time, as I think most of us do to some extent. If you're experiencing it every day, that's obviously a red flag. But from time to time, if I go to eat and something's like deep fried or whatever, I will get bloated. That is fairly normal. So in terms of digestion, I didn't really notice too much of a difference, although I will say I pretty much had like no bloat, whereas I might get bloated like once a week, twice a week kind of thing, eating my normal food. So that was good. Energy wise, not too much of a difference either. I was definitely eating a higher fat diet, but more so a higher fat breakfast than I was eating prior. And I definitely felt very satiated from it, and I didn't feel like ravenous upon returning from the gym, where some days I get home from the gym and I'm like, I need food. So I do think that eating a little bit of a higher fat breakfast is something that I will take away from this experiment and continue with. Overall hunger and satiety, I didn't find myself overly hungry eating this way. I would say it was about the same as normal. The one thing I did notice though was that at the end of the day, I didn't find myself feeling super hungry after dinner and really craving a ton of dessert. So I had my creamies, or I would have like the dates with butter, but those weren't like super filling meals or super high volume meals. Whereas my old creamy was definitely higher volume and would fill me up more, if that makes sense. In terms of relationship with food, what I noticed overall is that I didn't feel like I was craving things to the extreme. I wasn't like, this is so restrictive, but there definitely were moments where I was like, we're going out to eat. It would be nice if I could just have a piece of this lava cake or whatever afterwards. So that's where kind of the moderation side comes in for me. And again, going back to what I said at the beginning of the video, I am someone that comes from a background of restrictive eating. I never want to follow a diet that's going to tell me, hey, you can never have this food ever again, if that makes sense. While I think that it does provide good guidelines, generally speaking, I'm just not someone that's going to go the rest of my life never having a cookie, you know what I mean? So that's where I'm kind of moving forward from this experience or experiment. I will definitely be implementing a lot of the recipes and a lot of the approaches and just trying to get most of my protein in from whole food sources, because I think that was a great realization for me to have, was I don't need to have a ton of protein powder every day, even though I do enjoy it and I probably will have it in moderation, but actually in moderation this time. But moving forward, it definitely will be more of an 80-20 approach, I would say. I definitely want to continue to incorporate lots of meat. I think especially just for, like I said before, as a woman, I need lots of dietary fats from my hormones. Also, in my medical history, I tend to have a history of lower iron, so getting in more red meat for me is helpful to keep my iron levels high. So with that being said, I definitely will be having, you know, more whole protein sources in my diet and steering away from all of the like hyper processed protein foods, if that makes sense. There are a couple other things that I did miss, like simple things like garlic and onion, which are technically you're not supposed to have on the animal-based diet, and I didn't have any of them for the last 2 weeks, but I do miss them. Like certain flavors in food that it's hard to steer away from, those will be nice to like reintroduce. And I know for some people those types of foods can trigger their gut. For me, I don't notice a huge implication as long as I'm not eating like absurd amounts of it. So I think moving forward, I will definitely be using a mostly animal-based approach, I would say, especially when I'm cooking at home and making my own meals. Like they're very simple meals to make, very satiating recipes, healthy recipes. There are things that I will probably incorporate from time to time, like I said, like onions and stuff like that. And I'll definitely be incorporating the rice, the sweet potato, the sourdough, that kind of stuff. But I think when I go out to eat, when I'm going on vacation, for example, it's not something that I'm going to feel pressured to follow 100%. And yeah, I think it's so important to have that balance and moderation in life and just enjoy food, because food is good, cookies are good, regular ice cream is good, you know what I mean? I don't feel like we need to completely take everything off the table that isn't whole food based and not processed at all. Like it's okay to have these things. Again, in moderation, I just wasn't being moderate with some of them. Which reminds me, I wanted to talk quickly about the artificial sweeteners. I realized this week that I don't need to add a ton of artificial sweetener to everything. I did still use stevia this week, but it was definitely a lot less than I normally would, which was eye-opening. You know, like I said, I used to have a ton of sugar-free caramel, or I would put a ton of like the sugar-free sugar substitutes in my baking that I would make. And you can opt for more natural sources, and they're probably going to help you feel more satiated at the end of the day anyways. So maple syrup, honey, that kind of stuff, agave are definitely things that I'll be incorporating, and I'll probably still keep my stevia in, but I'm trying to just steer clear of the artificial sweeteners in terms of the syrups and stuff like that. You know, maybe have it once in a while if I go to Swig, for example, but day to day, just not needed. I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It was a really fun experiment. I, again, just want to preface this by saying this is not me telling you guys what to do. I just wanted to share my experience with challenging myself to take a deeper look at what am I actually putting in my body, and do I need to feed my body with a ton of processed stuff and a lot of artificial sweeteners all the time? And the answer that I found was no. And it was actually really easy and yummy and satiating to eat, pretty much fully like whole food based, minus a couple things. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it was a longer one. If you guys like this style of video, let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate any feedback. And with that being said, I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye guys.